Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Tropical storm Melissa moves slowly. Jamaica on alert. Universities safeguard students amid tropical storm. And later in sports, all Jamaica Premier League matches for this weekend suspended due to tropical storm Melissa. Here are the details. The country is bracing for what could turn into a disastrous extended onslaught of hurricane conditions. At least three deaths have been reported in Haiti. A tropical storm warning and hurricane watches remain in effect for Jamaica. Officials are expecting power outages, flooding, landslides, and dangerous seas. By Sunday, tropical storm Melissa is expected to intensify to a Category 4 or stronger hurricane. And the slow movement of tropical storm Melissa has made it difficult for forecasters to give a precise timeline for the system to begin impacting Jamaica. Director of the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says the projection was for showers to begin affecting the island late yesterday. Mr. Thompson says there is uncertainty about the direction of the storm at this time.
It has been investigated by aircraft reconnaissance, and it shows that there is a slight drift just beginning to take place, but that drift is not directly toward us yet. So we are watching that very closely, and the next bulletin will indicate the latest on that one.
So what you're saying is any number can still play?
That is correct. We really can't say for sure. Of course, the projections are there, and they're entirely scientific. You know, we look at what the computer models are actually predicting, and although there is disparity there, we use quite a bit of even common sense and experience to try to determine what is the best track that it's likely to take, taking into consideration all the guidance that we have. So it is still kind of, in a way, up in the air, but we still do expect that the system will be moving closer to Jamaica. As a tropical storm, we still expect that it will strengthen into a hurricane and even a major hurricane as it continues on its journey.
Mr. Thompson, who was speaking on Sunny Side Up with Derek Wilkes, says the system could linger in the vicinity of Jamaica until midweek.
Well, at least until Wednesday, but it could actually go a full week into next week Friday.
Wow.
So we are watching, and this is just that we would continue to see it in our territorial waters, and so we could continue to experience the impacts all the way through next week. The sea surface temperatures are very warm in the Caribbean, and that would generally cause it to strengthen. So there is a period where it is expected to go through a rapid intensification after it moves over the waters to the south, and so it could be moving from a Category 1 to a Category 3 or 4 over the waters south of us. And what that means is that we could see a similar scenario to, say, a Beryl or a Ivan or Dean, where it moves over the waters to the south of the island, but we are significantly impacted.
Now, as Jamaica braces for the arrival of tropical storm Melissa, 3 of the nation's leading universities are taking precautionary measures to ensure the safety of students and staff. Antonia Atkinson reports.
Registrar at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Dr. Donovan Stanberry, says that as of 2 p.m. on Thursday, all classes have been moved online. He added that Jamaican students residing in halls of residence were advised to return home, and the university's emergency response system has been activated.
As you know, Dan, we have about nearly 5,000 students in our halls of residence. So we have asked those who are Jamaicans to make their way home. Of course, if there's a Jamaican who feels threatened so doing, to get home if they live very far, then we can make provision for them to stay. We have activated all our emergency response service, so we're battening down, putting up shutters, making sure our utilities are intact.
President of UTEC, Dr. Kevin Brown, says all staff have been advised to stay home until further notice.
Since Wednesday, we have instructed lecturers to ensure that all their classes are now held online or remotely, and all our staff have been asked to remain at home and work remotely as well. And this is to just ensure that everyone is safe. In the meantime, we've also battened down our campus to ensure that we can protect all our assets.
Meanwhile, President of Northern Caribbean University, Professor Lincoln Edwards, says adequate preparations are in place for students who are unable to leave campus.
Those who are not able to return home, we have made adequate preparations for them to be housed and fed on the dormitory. Also, the workers, except essential workers, they have been allowed to go home to make their own preparations because the safety and security of our students and workers are our number one priority. And of course, the team is in place, battening down.
The Ministry of Education announced the closure of all schools, which started Thursday, October 23, as a precautionary measure to ensure the safety of students and other stakeholders. Schools have been instructed to activate their education emergency plans to facilitate continued teaching and learning. This includes online learning. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
In light of the approaching tropical storm Melissa, all non-essential government offices will be closed at 2 p.m. today. However, essential services will remain operational and available to the public. The government is encouraging all citizens to stay informed using official sources. Two of the country's main telecommunications companies, Flow and Digicel, have been reassuring Jamaicans that they have put plans in place as the nation braces for the impact of Tropical Storm Melissa. Both companies say all necessary measures have been implemented to ensure reliable communication across the island.
We are ready. Our teams are ready. Our emergency operations center is now open, and that will run 24/7 based at our headquarters. We have our field units. They are staged at the particular locations right across the island to respond at a moment's notice. Once we get the all clear, and that's a very important point, I want to make sure that everybody understands. We're governed under the National Disaster Risk Management Practices and Processes. When ODPEM provides the all clear to the country, that's when we are able to go out and understand and inspect what is happening and make those assessments.
Our goal is necessary to keep the public connected. Telecoms, it's essential. Contacting service providers, contacting the emergency responders, we need to keep persons up and running. So we too want to add that Digicel has strengthened our resiliency. We are relentless in staying up to date with our customers, so 24/7. We have several helplines available. We have our new WhatsApp line, which was implemented, and our AI bot is available to serve. That number is 876-355-5000. We also have our main line 619-5000 as well as 100, and our Ruby available via the My Digicel app. Now, as well, we want to ensure that our generators are up and running. We've added additional backup, so we have generator systems. We have our solar project, which is well underway, so we are ready.
The St. James Municipal Corporation says it has started preparation for the evacuation of homeless people across the parish ahead of the approaching storm. Speaking at an emergency meeting yesterday, Inspector of Poor Pauline Leckie said plans are in place to facilitate close to 200 homeless people.
Transportation to take them off the street to Jared Park, which is already prepared for them in case of any eventuality.
She says meals, change of clothes and other items will be provided for them. As for after the storm, the Minister of Labour has launched an app to better assist.
Last year, Hurricane Beryl, it was a paper-based assessment. This time around, it will not be a paper-based assessment. It has what we call a geomapping. It can also give a direct location of where the house is. So if I should visit someone in Garlands, there's a geomapping there that can give the precise location. And we can take pictures and all. And the beauty about it, we don't need the internet while we are in the field.
The Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools says some schools designated as shelters for Tropical Storm Melissa still have minor issues from Hurricane Beryl last year.
The real matter is whether any of these are leaking. I know mine is fine, and I know some were set up from Beryl. So repairs were done with some from Beryl, so many of those should be okay. But I know from my end it's all good.
The association's president, Linvern Wright, also made mention of sanitary readiness of the bathrooms at some schools.
The state of schools are in relation to the adequacy of bathrooms. It's something that we struggle with, right through. Some of us have done some work to get more bathrooms built.
He also noted that many facilities cannot be used due to challenges in keeping shelters fully operational.
But people, don't really use it with the kind of care that they should use. What we really hope is that, people will have to stay around for long, so, you really have these things to work out with the communities.
Yeah. And it's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back. It's time for the Business Minute.
Data released by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica indicate that the passage of the impending tropical storm Melissa will lead to higher food prices and higher inflation in October and November. This because food and non-alcoholic beverages account for over 35% of the weights in the basket that is used to measure the rate of inflation. The food and non-alcoholic beverage index jumped by 9% in September, pushing the rate up to 9% month-over-month in September and 2.1% year-over-year September of 2024 to September of 2025. And concerns from some residents in St. Elizabeth about the availability of locally baked goods such as bread. Jamaicans have been rushing to stock up on the good ahead of Tropical Storm Melissa. TVJ News has observed scores of empty bread shelves in supermarkets across the island. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Carrie-Ann Simpson.
It's now time for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Trinidad and Tobago government says a United States warship, the USS Gravely, will dock in Port of Spain this weekend for a 5-day visit. The guided missile destroyer will conduct joint military training with the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, focusing on tactics, maintenance, and medical operations. The government says the visit underscores Washington's commitment to regional security and cooperation. It comes a week after a U.S. Embassy security alert and follows recent CARICOM talks on the region's growing military presence. And on the international scene, on Thursday, President Donald Trump announced he's ending all trade negotiations with Canada. On social media, the president said he was taking that action because of ads featuring former President Ronald Reagan criticizing tariffs. A government leader in Ontario said his province would spend $75 million on the ad campaign to run in the United States. The Reagan Presidential Foundation says the ad misrepresents Reagan's speech and his remarks were edited without permission. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.